Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles of the great millstone, and as well as giving the salutations that you brothers deserve all around the world. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Brakatham to the Akim Ma'akwaf Yam on the side of support. We say what we do. And just to get into this real quick on this company named Panera Bread, which debuts frictionless palm payment system. As you can see, I'm from the zerohedge.com. And this reads, Amazon's palm reading payment technology was first introduced at numerous Whole Food locations in California, enabling customers to pay for their groceries by scanning their palms at checkout terminals, rather than using cash or a card. Now, Panera Bread is experimenting with Amazon's cashless payment system as the war on cash marches on. On Wednesday, Panera Bread announced plans to roll out a contactless payment method to several stores with an additional locations in the coming months. The bakery cafe chain has over 2,000 locations, and its loyalty program has 52 million members. Panera is the first national restaurant company to use Amazon One as both a way for guests to pay and access their loyalty accounts with their palm. And, the company said, our philosophy has been centered around leveraging best-in-class technology to create a better Panera experience and using that to deepen our relationship with our loyal guests. Introducing Amazon One as a frictionless, personalized, and convenient services is another way we're redefining loyalty, or the loyalty experience. Nyron Short-Harry, CEO of Panera Bread and Panera Brand, stated. So what I'm going to say is, this has nothing to do with bettering the experience or to make things convenient for the sake of the people, in their own, personal idea. This is all happening because you have conglomerations out there that have pronounced to all of these companies to get involved in this technology, because this is going to be the new wave. This is going to be a new way of doing business. And what is that new way of doing business going to be? It's going to be based on biometrics. And this is what they want to formulate a world where transaction is going to be based on you having to swipe your hand, and what is it that you're going to have to be connected to this new way of doing business? The mark of the you-know-what, the implantable device, which is the microchip. This is what is on the books, and this is what they're putting into action right now. As we're talking about whatever we're talking about, and many various topics we speak on, what's happening is they're rolling this digital world in to our lives, so much so to the point of you're going to have to get hip to it unless you're going to be left behind. Okay? And I just want to read a verse or a scripture, and this is in the book of 2 Corinthians 2 in verse 11. As this reads, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And what is the device? What is the thought and idea in this case? Is to get people hip to their new world system, which is what they newly call the Great Reset. And within that world, they want everybody to be under the grid. And if you're not under the grid, if you don't have the implantable device to connect to the grid, then you are no longer existing in the new world, which will be a digital world. And this is what they call the Great Reset. All right. So all of these companies, these stores, Amazon has, which is one out of many, which has begun to start with this frictionless way of paying for goods. And there's going to be many more companies. There's going to be many more stores that's going to adopt this technology all around. when they give the heads up. Okay, all of these tech companies, all these store, companies, supermarkets, whatever you want to call it, and as well as including the bank, which it starts right there and there. It starts with the bank. So when all of these banks, let's just begin with the banks. Whenever these banks, because it's the banks that control all of these institutions, these major corporations that we depend on. It's all by the behest of the bank. So once the bank goes digital, then everyone is going to have to go digital. All of these corporations are going to go digital. And this is the reason why Panera Bread, out of many companies, are adopting this frictionless, contactless payments. All right. And, like I've mentioned before, like a lot of us have been conditioned not to use cash anymore. Whether you're swiping your cards or whether you're using your phone to buy your goods. This is what's going on right now. So the whole idea of going into your bank account and getting, cash through the cash machine, not much of us are doing that anymore. That's kind of like played out now. It's more convenient to just swipe your card, because your card got the the near field communication reader, and as well as your phone has the same thing. So you don't necessarily do that. It takes a lot of time to just take money out of your account, and it also takes time for you to tab in your PIN, your password, your PIN number to buy your stuff. All you got to do is swipe. It's very convenient. So they've already got us to that point where we're used to not using cash. We're not used to doing things manually like we used to anymore. Everything is quick. They got us to that way of doing things where it's just quick. It's convenient and quick. Boom. And there's a purpose behind that. And the purpose is to one day get us implanted device. That's why all of these companies are looking into this kind of thing, because this is the new wave that they want us on at this present time, or should I say sooner or later. Excuse me. In this present time, they get in this world, this digital setting of this world put together. So yeah, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. We're very well aware of these devices. We're very well aware of their agendas and what they have planned in the future. And we've known this way beforehand. Okay, just like, for example, the SMV Bank, which you have a lot of economist analysis that is saying that the SMV Bank and many others that have failed right along with that bank is a means to the CBDC. And I very well agree. I sincerely and very well agree with that, because, what better way into bringing the digital ID CBDC setting? Through collapsing the banks. That's the best way to go about it. All right. Hey, once upon a time, centuries ago in the States, people gave up their gold and their silver for the fiat fund currency that they have today. So they reckon that people are going to give up the fiat fund currency for the CBDCs. And it's looking like this is where we're going, because a lot of us have already gotten hip to these phones. I remember when these phones first came out, man. We're talking 13 years ago, and I said to myself, I don't need to be on the internet with this particular phone. I don't need to use internet on my phone. All I need is my music and the contacts, and that's it. Like phones, I was just like thinking to myself, all you need a phone for is to contact you peoples or listen to your music. That's it. I was already like satisfied with that. But when one of my relatives showed me the phone, I kind of got hooked into it. I was like, whoa, you can do a lot on these phones. And the next thing you know, this is where I'm at with it today with these phones. And I'm pretty sure very few of you brothers had the same mindset at once upon a time. But then it just got to the point where it was just convenient for you to use these phones. And ever since that point, you've been kind of like hip to using these phones. So much so now, it's like you can't even go out without your phone. Your phone is like equivalent to your wallet right now. And just like what you can do with these phones is pay with your phones. Okay? Your data's on here. Every single important information that's on your phone. This is why you take your phone seriously, like you would take your wallet. Like whenever you hit them streets, you always got to make sure you got your wallet on you. And it's the same thing with your phone. And once upon a time, there was some of us that was like, man, I don't need these phones. Now we're so hip to these phones that we can't even leave these phones alone. Some of us are, you got a lot of us that's actually on these phones even while we're sleeping. All right, that's how hip to these phones we are. So they've done this all by purpose to get us to the digital setting so that we can accept the idea of getting an implantable device inside of us. Like one of the guys within the World Economic Forum said, I forgot the guy's name, but he said one day the people are no longer going to use the phones outwardly, but the phones are going to be under their skin. Because if they were to just say, look, we're going to have the implants inside of you just like that, and then people are not going to really take it on board. And a lot of people at once upon a time, throughout these news stations, as I can remember years ago looking into, a lot of people were expressing their concerns on this implantable device, and they didn't really agree with it. But now it's looking more like it's not a big deal because people are already swiping their hands with their credit cards. They're using their phone, and you got some people that have bracelets too that they could swipe with. So we're already there. So when they do tell the people to get the implantable device, it's not going to be much of a taboo thing to do. All right. Again, they've used this technique, and I forgot to use the term. It's gradualism. That's what they've used on us. But the men of the Lord, the men of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, as the Lord has given us an unction to know all things, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. So now let's get back to the scriptures, shall we? Let's read Isaiah 32 and verse 7. So this reads, the instruments also of the churl are evil, and the churl is nothing more than a dirty, rotten scoundrel, which Esau is, to devise of the wicked devices. He devised of wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speak of right. And what is the goal for Esau? The goal for Esau is to destroy the poor so that he can become their gods. And what better way to destroy a people by locking them out of their freedom? That's the best way you can destroy someone, is by getting into their body, getting into their mind. And that's what they're going to be able to do with these implantable devices. They'll be able to tell you what to do. They'll be able to measure you out in every step of the way. Okay. And they got your life. They got access to your life right there and there. So that's what all of this is all about. And we already see this coming. But at the end of the day, we do want them to bring this in, because this is going to be the time when the temptation is going to begin. And in that same time, we're going to be delivered. Okay. We're going to be tried. And as well as, when that mark is instituted, we know, okay, the Lord is definitely on his way right about that time. But the Lord is going to put us through the test. And this is the last prophecy of them all. And this is why we want this to happen. All right. Revelations 13 and 16. And he caused of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand on their forehead. And that no man might buy or sell, say that he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And that's what it's getting down to the bottom of, man. This frictionless hand payment technology that they got. All of this is going to enter into all of these different stores. You name it. This is going to be the new way for the world to come. And the Lord is going to allow him to do it. And we want him to do it so that we can get out of here. So that basically we can get to our next destination. And it's really the final destination, which is our kingdom. We want to get to the kingdom. So before that happens, this devil is going to what? Bring the mark, bring the charagma to the forefront. Okay? And this is going to be mandatory. So I close. Shalom.